Grr, arg.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Mixtape Podcast, a podcast where we review movies from a screenwriter's perspective. And up this week, we have one of my favorite sci fi movies of all time. We are reviewing Stargate, released in 1994, directed by Roland Emmerich, and written by Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich. Now, I am a huge fan of the TV show that spawned from this movie, Stargate SG-1 and Stargate Atlantis. I will try to not bring SG-1 into this, but it's so hard. It's going to be hard. I'm going to try and stick with the movie, but as I was watching this movie to review it, I kept thinking, where is Samantha Carter? Oh, yeah, it's not the show. It's not the fucking show. I'm going to try it, but I have a sneaking suspicion that if you love this movie, you will love the show. So please forgive me if I bring up anything to do with the show. Marcelo, how do you feel about Stargate SG-1?
I absolutely adore Stargate SG-1, and to your credit, like as I was watching this film, I kept thinking, "Where's General Hammond? Like why is he not here?" And there's a specific line in the opening of this film where I go, did the Atlanteans create the Stargate? I think they did.
Oh my God, did they? Shit, I missed that. I missed it.
It's in the opening scene when Jackson is doing that lecture,
Mm.
and one professor asks him, "Who do you think created the Stargates?" And the guy says, "Do you think the Atlanteans created the Stargate?"
Oh, because I think it was. I think in Stargate Atlantis, the law was the ancients or
Yeah,
Atlanteans actually did build. Okay, we're going off on a tangent. Let's come back to 1994, and we're talking about Stargate, not the shows. All right, if you have not seen Stargate, please go see it and come back and watch this. So, Stargate is about this. An interstellar teleportation device found in Egypt leads to a planet with humans resembling ancient Egyptians who worship the god Ra. The opening scene. We're in Giza, Egypt, 1928, and Professor Langford and his daughter Catherine are taken to a dig that has unearthed a large metal ring. Spoiler alert, it's the Stargate, but nobody knows what it is. Nobody has seen it before. What did you think about the opening? I mean, it's quick, but it's exposition that we needed because we needed them to find the Stargate. So, thoughts?
I love the 1928 feel to it, and Roland Emmerich does a great job of introducing a totem that Catherine is going to wear throughout the course of this film that is going to help Daniel and his crew once they jump to the Stargate. So I I think that the opening to this film gave the film sort of like an Indiana Jones kind of vibe to it, and
Mm.
I love the way that this film opens. I think it really gives it a sense of mystery and wonder.
I remember watching this for the first time on VHS. I'd never seen anything like it. Never had seen anything like it. And I was just like hooked. The ancient Egyptian mythology that they worked in, everything, just the way that it looked, everything. I'd never seen anything like it. Anyway, present day, we go to present day, and an older Catherine stops in at a talk that Dr. Daniel Jackson is giving, where he says the pyramids were not commissioned to be built by Khufu, as is believed. The scholars in the room basically asked, if not him, then who? And Daniel doesn't know. He goes, well, I actually don't know. And they're like, well, this guy's a quack. He doesn't know anything. They all get up and leave because they think he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's like, okay, well, if Khufu didn't build the pyramids, then who did? He doesn't know. So why are we listening to him? He also says that the Sphinx dates back much further than the pyramids, all of which is true. What Daniel speaks about in his speech is actually fact, right? So the writers have researched this. It is believed that Khufu did commission the pyramids because the pyramids in Giza are just tombs. They're just big tombs. But when they excavated the pyramids, they found Khufu's sarcophagus, but they didn't find the body. So they don't actually know where Khufu is. The Sphinx, scholars think that the Sphinx was another thing that Khufu commissioned to resemble him. But now we're finding out that the Sphinx is actually way older than the pyramids and dates back thousands of years before that. So now nobody knows what's going on. and archaeologists have no idea. So basically, what I'm saying is everything that Daniel was saying is fact. It's not made up, it's actually fact. After the talk, Catherine catches up with Daniel, offers him a job deciphering ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs. And he's unsure, but we find out that he has no money, nobody respects him, he has no job. So really, he has no choice. And when Daniel is giving the speech and everybody walks out, it's showing that everybody just thinks he's crazy. And you know what? The crazy people are the ones that actually know what's going on. So anyway, I know I went on about that scene a bit too long, but what did you think?
I love the way that Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin established Daniel as a person who strongly believes in who knows what he's doing, and I love how they established him as an archaeologist, and also I love how puts him from a the scene puts him from a story perspective to be against the scientific community. So I really like how the entire room that he's speaking to believes that his beliefs are absolute gibberish. So I love how from a character perspective, he has nowhere to go. So when he actually has the meeting with Catherine in the car outside, Catherine knows that Daniel is essentially a scientific pariah. So he has nowhere to go. So I really, really
Mm.
like the way that the way that the writer and the director of this film set up Daniel as a scientific pariah. But I also love the way that James Spader plays him.
I love the way that James Spader, I don't know who's better, James Spader or Michael Shanks that plays Daniel Jackson in the show. What do you reckon?
I like Michael Shanks. I'm a big fan of Michael Shanks.
Yeah, I'm a fan of Michael Shanks too. I didn't even know why I asked. I knew what you were going to say because I knew what I was going to
Yep.
say. Anyway, scene
Yep.
two. Two Air Force officers visit Colonel O'Neill at his home to tell him that to tell him that he's been reactivated and the military needs him. Now, the colonel sits in his son's room holding a gun, and we find out that his son died accidentally shooting himself. I'm not on board with that storyline. I don't know why. It just never really hit for me. And the way, again, I'm sorry, I'm going to compare it to the show again. The way that Kurt Russell plays Jack O'Neill, he's really unlikable. You just don't like him. But in the show, Richard Dean Anderson, the way that he plays him, you love him. I didn't like the way Kurt Russell played the character at all.
Yeah, the way that Colonel O'Neill is set up in this movie is very, very tragic. But if you look at it throughout the course of the film, he does grow, and he doesn't he's just fucking mean. He's just fucking mean. Like one scene of him staring out into the distance, looking at his son's photos and playing with a gun indicates to us that something evil happened, but he doesn't really grow as a person throughout the course of the film. Sure, he gets nicer. I don't think he learns anything.
No, he doesn't. He learns nothing. He's the stock standard military character that is very two-dimensional, I think. Daniel arrives at an underground military bunker or Cheyenne Mountain for the SG-1 people. And he's basically shown huge stones that are from the 1928 dig with hieroglyphs etched on them. And they want him to decipher what they say. Daniel notices that there's a blackboard with a translation already on it. And he begins to correct it because he says it's incorrect. So he's looking at the stones, looking at the pictures, and he's correcting whoever wrote the translation on the blackboard. So he translates it to a million years into the sky is Ra, sun god, sealed and buried for all time. He then crosses out the translation door to heaven and corrects it to Stargate. Jack O'Neill walks in and he says the stones are 10,000 years old. And Daniel says they can't be 10,000 years old because Egyptian culture didn't exist then. But he's told that the carbon dating confirms it. And that is another thing now that archaeologists kind of argue about because carbon dating has dated kind of the Sphinx further back than they thought Egyptian culture started. So it's another thing that's fact. I just love the fact that the writers did research because Marcella, you know what I'm like? I'm like a crazy chick that just does all this crazy research to make sure facts are facts. So they are not making any of this shit up. Anyway, what did you think?
I actually adore this scene because it actually shows how smart Daniel is compared to the writers that they have working in Cheyenne Mountain. And as Daniel corrects the blackboard, he goes, Who the hell did this translation?" And the guy behind it goes, I did this translation." And Catherine just gives that guy a look.
Yeah.
Like it's just so good. You can say so much about the way that a character is feeling by just a really, really, really small close up on an actor looking at another actor going, "The hell? What the hell is wrong with you?"
Mm-hmm. 2 weeks later, Daniel can't seem to translate the other hieroglyphs. He's tired and he doesn't know what to do, and he steps out to get coffee when he turns around and he sees a military officer reading a newspaper. And in one section, it has a picture of the Orion constellation. And it piques his interest. So he takes it and he takes it back to the hieroglyphs, the room that the hieroglyphs is in, and he matches it with one of the hieroglyphs, realizing that they aren't glyphs, they are constellations. So once he's figured that out, he calls a meeting, presents his findings to the military, and says the constellations were placed in a unique order, forming a map or address, 7 points to outline a course to a certain position. Now they decide to show him the device because they're like, we need to show him the device. And he's like, what device? Let's just show him. So they open these blast doors and Daniel sees the Stargate, the ring, because he's working off of stones. He sees the ring for the first time and it's massive and he asks what it is. And Catherine tells him, it's your Stargate. And we see it's got symbols around the sides, which are called chevrons. And Daniel identifies the seventh symbol, which is the point of origin it needs to actually work. So you have 6 symbols, but you need a point of origin for it actually to lock in to create the wormhole that is basically the Stargate. And that's what they were missing. They were missing the point of origin. But of course, Daniel works it out because he's fucking smart. So they lock in all the chevrons and the gate activates and they send a MALP through, which is like, for people that don't know, it's like a little robot that has a camera on it, and they find it's safe for humans to go. There's another gate on the other side, which acts as basically a doorway. But the symbols on that side are different. Now, Daniel says he can decipher them because they want to bring a team through. He says, if you can get me to the other side, I can decipher the symbols. And Catherine gives Daniel her necklace that she found as a girl in 1928 in Egypt. And it is the Eye of Ra. It's like an Eye of Ra pendant. And she says it will protect you.
Is it?
And then he puts it
Yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. The moment that Daniel sees the Stargate for the first time, I remember as a kid being so awestruck, and I'm like I couldn't believe how big the set was, and like the set design in this movie was absolutely fantastic. Um and that moment when the Stargate opened up for the first time after they put in the seventh symbol, went from each side. It was absolutely fucking fantastic. It was amazing. But again, I love the way that Daniel's intelligence comes from book smarts, and as opposed to the people that he's working for, the military. When Daniel has the meeting with the military to explain to everyone that these symbols are in fact constellations, when he tries to basically do a show and tell situation, the guys in the military, including Colonel West, don't even look at the map.
Yeah.
So I love that. Yeah. So I love that essentially our hero in this film is a fucking nerd. I absolutely love that aspect of this film.
Yeah. He's the underdog. So Daniel O'Neill and a team of Marines step through the gate, and I assume you guys know what it looks like. It just looks like a big puddle base. Looks like water. It's really cool when the gate activates. And they end up in a dark room, and they venture out a doorway into the desert, and they walk down this ramp, and then the camera like pulls back and you can see they walk out of this massive structure. It's actually a pyramid, and when they turn around, behind the pyramid are 3 moons, indicating that they're not on Earth anymore, basically showing that they're nowhere near Earth. Because spoiler alert, Earth only has 1 moon. So I just love that. I love the camera pull back, and you can see how big the pyramid is and how small they are in comparison. I love the shot.
Yeah, no, when they went through the Stargate, I actually missed the 3 moons thing. I didn't see that. Like
Oh, okay.
like, I I completely missed that, but, from a directing standpoint, I love how Roland Emmerich shows the sense of space by showing them in comparison to the pyramid
Mm.
that they're coming out of. It's a great way to convey size and scale, I thought. So it's just a it's just a wonderful, wonderful scene, and as a kid watching this movie, I was like, uh I can't wait to see I can't wait to see what is gonna happen next. Like, I was so enthralled and so interested to see what was gonna happen next. I was on pins and needles at this
Yeah.
point.
No, I was too. I was too. So the Marines set up camp next to the pyramid, and O'Neill asks Daniel, what are you doing? Why are you not deciphering the Stargate to when we need to go back to Earth? And Daniel says he can't decipher it without the stone tablet, which he thought was going to be next to the Stargate, but it's not. And it's really interesting because him and the other Marines get so pissed off at him. The way that they treat him, especially O'Neill, is with such contempt. Like he's only there, to do X, Y, and Z. But Daniel has the most important job. It's nothing they can do. It's almost like jocks versus nerds. It's just like, yeah, that's why I don't like O'Neill. O'Neill in SG1, him and Daniel had words, but he never looked down on Daniel. He never thought that he was better than him, but in this he kind of does. So O'Neill goes back inside the pyramid, and it looks like he's putting together like a bomb that he brought through with him, but we don't know what that's for. Now Daniel sees animal prints in the sand and follows them to a large, weird looking Star Wars type fucking animal, who then drags him through the desert to a local mining civilization. Over to you.
The moment when Daniel realizes that he doesn't have any markers to actually open the gate, I think that's absolutely great because that's the first time in the film that Daniel is seen as an infallible person. That's the first time in this film that Daniel has made a mistake. So,
Mm,
so I really, really, really like that choice that Dean Devlin made and that Roland Emmerich made to show that Daniel isn't isn't Mr. Perfect, and the guy does make mistakes. I do agree with you that the way that O'Neill acts and the way that Kowalski acts and the way that everybody else acts only makes the situation even worse. As a matter of fact, when when they come out of the pyramids for the first time, Daniel has a sense of wonder and mystery. Daniel wants to fuck around and walk around and look at shit. And the Marines, including O'Neill, have no interest in doing that. They are there for a very very specific reason, and Daniel doesn't seem to be on board with that.
mm.
Essentially, so that makes me think that Daniel, as a character, is fascinated by the science of it all.
Daniel's more interested in the archaeological aspect because he's interested in ancient civilizations and he thinks, oh my God, I'm on the other side of the universe and I could learn something. Whereas the military just want they're there to find something to help the military, which
Right.
is just like, yeah, it's chalk and cheese between them. So that's why they clash, because same thing in the show. Daniel always wants to look at the archaeological aspect, and O'Neill is like, do we have anything that could help Earth? No, let's go. So I do like that push and pull. I would be like a Daniel. I'd want to stay and have a look around and meet the people and stuff, but that's not what O'Neill's kind of orders are. They run after Daniel because Daniel's been like dragged off by this animal, and they find him and they approach an encampment of the miners. Now, as soon as the miners see Daniel's Ra pendant, they all bow. And he's like, what is going on? And then the leader comes out, Kasuf, and Skara, they're going to be in the story. And they also find that the people of this colony are actually mining for the same materials that the Stargate is made out of. And that will come back.
I absolutely love the moment when they run into the miners and when they run into Skara and Shara. I can only think, oh, poor Skara and poor Shara. But we're not talking about SG1. We're talking about the original Stargate movie. the thing that I like about it from a story perspective is that when the team and Daniel come across them for the first time, they don't speak English. So Daniel has to essentially find a way to communicate with these people, and the fact that these people think that Daniel is a god, because of the necklace that he has around his neck that Catherine gave him is an absolute wonderful way to push the story forward. But it also makes the team come off as something that they're not. So I love the way that Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich set that up.
So when they get inside the city, we see a large sculpture of the Eye of Ra. And Daniel goes, oh, because the sculpture is the same as his pendant. So we know, and then he knows this is why they're bowing to him. And the leader instructs the people to take Daniel because he's, I don't know, he's connected to Ra, they think, to a room, and all these women are like pampering him, and then they leave, and he's like, yeah, that's great, thank you, goodbye. Until a woman enters. It's the daughter of the leader, and she undresses, but Daniel puts her clothes back on and says, no, 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 no. He goes to show her out, but Kasuf, the dad, the leader, is standing there, and he's looking at her like angry. And Daniel picks this up like, oh, he sent her in as an offering, and Daniel's refused. And so Daniel doesn't want her to get in trouble. So he goes, no, 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 all good, all good. No, no, no. She's just wants, thank you. Thanks so much. But he's such a nice guy. He's not the kind of guy that would go, great, a woman offering, let's get into this. He's not like that at all. He actually has respect, and he's a nice guy. So he takes her back into the room, and Daniel draws in the sand the pyramid they came out of, because they don't speak English, right? And then the daughter says her name is Share, and she draws the symbol for Earth, which is the same symbol on the Stargate. It's the point of origin of Earth. And Daniel says, you have seen this? And she nods. And Daniel says, where did you see this? Because wherever she saw this symbol, there's going to be other symbols. So this is where we get kind of flowing more into the story. What did you think?
I really like how the scene pushes the story forward, but I really like how the scene shows that Daniel is a man of honor, and I like the way that I like the way that he doesn't take advantage of Share.
So the rest of the Marines who are taking shelter in the pyramid, it starts to shake, and they're like, okay, what's going on? And we see, this is such a cool scene. When I was a kid, I was like, whoa, no way. It starts shaking, and we see a ship that is bigger than the pyramid landing over the pyramid, almost like a shell to the pyramid. And I'm like, oh my God, because you would think, oh, it's going to land on top. But no, it encases the entire pyramid. It's so
It's in
fucking,
Devils, yeah.
yeah, it's so fucking cool. And then, and this is a fucking, when I was a kid, I was like, yeah, kill him. So the Marines, because I was a morbid child.
Sorry, I was too, folks. So
So the Marines get taken out one by one, and we don't know by who. And then we see the assailant, the bad guy, and it's really difficult to describe if you haven't seen it. But when I was a kid, it was one of the coolest costumes I've ever seen. Ancient Egyptian, looks like a pharaoh with like a helmet, a headdress of like Anubis, which is like a jackal. It's just so cool. I was like, oh my God. And their weapons are like, I can't even describe it. If you haven't seen it, fucking Google pictures, but it was just really cool. Thoughts?
that specific scene when Ra's ship comes down and basically engulfs their pyramid is absolutely fucking awesome. But the moment that I really lost my shit is when the Jaffa invade the pyramid and they start laying waste to Colonel O'Neill's men. And they look so fucking cool, by the way, folks. In this movie, they never name Anubis's soldiers. The only reason that I know their names is because I'm such a massive fan of Stargate SG-1, so you have to forgive me there. But
Yeah, because it is the Jafar. Yeah, because in the show they enslaved the Jafar, and us crazy
no,
nerds
but
know this.
the other aspect of this film that I really really enjoy is that there is this specter of this evil over the film, but you never really see him until until like the end of the second act going into the third act. So I love
Mhm.
the fact that once Daniel and O'Neill and his troops get to Abydos, there is this threat of evil in the air, but you never really see it until the end of the second act going into the third act.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's true. And I love the fact that
Yeah.
they did that. So O'Neill befriends Skara, showing him basically his lighter because they're primitive people. They don't know lighters and guns and all that, and letting him keep it and letting him, have one of his cigarettes. Skara is basically in awe of him, basically looks up to O'Neill. And but when Skara picks up O'Neill's gun, because Skara doesn't know what a gun is, O'Neill basically freaks out because we know that his son died via a gunshot wound. I like that. That was a bonding scene. The fact that he let him smoke but didn't let him touch the gun. I mean, whatever. They're both bad, but whatever. But it was a good bonding scene because they do have a bond by the end, and it leaks over into the show. So I liked it.
Do you believe that O'Neill sort of gets a second zest for life with through his relationship with Skara?
No, I think he does. I think in this movie, he does something for Skara that he could never do for his son, which is protect him. And I think that
Right.
is what helps him release the guilt because he couldn't protect his son, but he can protect this boy. So I think you're absolutely right. One of the Marines from the pyramid is not dead and is dragged by the Anubis soldier to a room on the ship where he sees a sarcophagus, really fucking cool sarcophagus that opens, and then we see a hand reach out. Again, as a kid, I'm like, what does this person look like? Oh my god, this is the bad guy. This is the villain. What the does this guy look like? All you see is a hand, and then it like boom, you're into the next scene. I'm like, no, go back. I want to see the bad guy. Anyway, I thought it was a really cool moment to start the wheels turning for the villain.
This moment for me when I was a kid, this moment really pissed me off because at this point in the film, I'm like, God damn it, who is this fucking villain? The actual production design within Raw ship, specifically the sarcophagus that he lays in, is fucking fantastic. I think the production design in this movie is top notch.
Oh, 100%. Top notch.
Yeah, it's just
The
yeah, man,
everything is
top notch.
great. So Sharae takes Daniel to the caves where she saw the symbol, where he sees other ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs on the wall. And he's like, okay, so he translates. And I love this because it's exposition that we need, but it makes sense to the story and to the character telling it because we know he can decipher glyphs, right? So this is the story that he deciphers from the glyphs. A traveler from distant stars escaped from a dying world looking for a way to extend his life. His entire species was becoming extinct, so he searched the galaxies looking for a way to cheat death. He came to a world where he encountered a primitive race, humans. He realized within a human body he has a chance for a new life. He found a boy who didn't run away from him when he landed his ship and was curious. Ra took him and possessed his body and made himself ruler. He explains that Ra brought people here from Earth to mine for the mineral that he needs to sustain eternal life. I love it. I love that story. It's basically saying that Ra is an alien. His race was dying. He found humans. He found that he could put his soul into a human and have basically eternal life. I fucking love it. Fucking love it.
It's a magnificent way to tell the audience basically exposition that we need, like Dean said, but the way that it's delivered by Jane Spader, it doesn't sound like heavy exposition. It's just fucking great. And also, also, what I was thinking throughout the entire speech was, oh, so Raw is like a gold. He's like one of the system lords. And I was like, God
Hell
damn it!
yeah.
I gotta get. I gotta. I'm like, God damn it! I really hate the fact that I'm in it. That I am a SG1 fan at this moment because I was like, Just stop thinking about the show and watch the movie.
He is, because in the show it starts off with Apophis. He's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Apophis, Baal. They're all in there.
Yeah.
So O'Neill, Daniel, and some of the other Marines that went with them to the village head back to the base camp, aka the pyramid, and see the ship covering the pyramid because they don't know any of this shit has happened, and they're like, "Oh, what the fuck is this?" They race inside, and the Jackal soldiers basically take out all the Marines. O'Neill rushes to where he left the bomb. It's gone. That'll come back, but it's gone because they took it. Rings come down from above, and Jackal soldiers are teleported in. So the rings are horizontal, and they come down one by one. If anyone's seen SG-1, you know what I'm talking about. It's a teleportation device, and basically they kidnap O'Neill and Daniel, and they take him up to the ship, up to Ra. That was a cool scene. Thoughts?
The fact that Ra and his Jaffa took the nuclear weapon really put O'Neill on the back foot, and I love how that propels us into the third act. And finally, as an audience, we are finally going to figure out what Ra really looks like. Because
Mm.
I've been chomping at the bit to see what this guy looks like. But also the fact that Raw has taken a nuclear weapon also is going to cause O'Neill to basically tell his men what's the deal with the nuclear weapon.
Mm.
So I love how this entire sequence creates issues for O'Neill without him actually really taking on the weight of it.
Yeah. So they're brought before Ra, who appears in an epic armored headpiece. It's the coolest thing to date. I have seen any villain fucking put on their head. And it basically looks like the sarcophagus head. He just looks menacing. And Ra says, "You have come to destroy me." And his child slaves, because his slaves are children, that's how fucked he is, then bring out O'Neill's bomb. Daniel has no idea why there is even a bomb, because he's not privy to it, obviously. The soldiers and Ra then retract their headpieces to reveal that they're only human and that they're headpieces. O'Neill then basically takes one of the soldiers' weapons, killing the other one. Daniel gets hit, and Ra walks up to Daniel, bends down, and notices Daniel's Ra pendant. So this is saving his ass multiple times. O'Neill then gets thrown into a water pit with the other Marines who survived. Now, let's just talk about the actor that plays Ra. I have always loved the fact that they picked this guy because this guy looks very androgynous. He looks young, but he plays it that's so menacing and scary that he doesn't look like a boy. He looks like he's so intimidating, but I love the way that he physically looks. I think it fits with what they were trying to go with, because he's not physically intimidating, but he's mentally intimidating, which I think is worse. But thoughts?
He looks otherworldly, and I think and I think that actually plays into the mystique of the character. But if I'm being honest with you, when he was revealed, I was pissed. I was absolutely pissed because I'm like, that guy looks like a fucking supermodel. That is the villain of this movie. Come on. I'm feeling fucking jip. I was so upset. I was absolutely crushed. But as an adult, I'm so happy that Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich went for an actor like him, because it's against type, and
Mm.
and he actually looks more menacing, and he actually looks more alien by how fucking perfect he looks. I mean, the actor was a model, if I'm not mistaken.
He was in another movie. I forget what it is. And after he did that movie, he didn't like the press that he was getting. He didn't realize what it would be like, and he didn't want to act anymore. Because he came from the fashion industry. I don't know
Okay.
if he was a model, but he was definitely a designer, right? So he did that other movie, and when the director saw this guy in this movie, went, "No, he's Ra, he's Ra." And they called him up and he's like, no, I don't want to act anymore. I don't want anything to do with it. And they pleaded with him and they begged him. They're like, no, you have to play this character. We need you. There's nobody else. Like they really wanted this guy, this unknown guy. And
Right.
in an interview, this guy goes, I said to them, if you pay me $1 million, I'll do it. Thinking they would go, no, fuck you. And they came back and they said, yep, we'll pay you $1 million. And he was like, oh. and that's why he took it. And he was very critical of himself. He didn't know if he was doing a good job. He didn't like the way he was doing it, but he was consistently told by the director, you are doing a good job. This is exactly what I want, because he wasn't confident that he could play someone menacing. When he saw the movie completed, he pulled the director aside and he was crying. And the director, Roland, was like, oh no. oh no. And he goes, I'm so sorry. You hated it. And he looked at the director and he said, no, I loved it. I don't know how you made me look like this, but you've done it. and I absolutely love it. So
Yeah.
that's just a little bit of a trivia on the actor, because I really do think that he brought it. And after he did this movie, he went back to the fashion industry. He didn't want to act anymore. So there's that.
I mean, I mean, that's the magic of a good director, right?
Oh yeah.
A good director can have the worst actor in the world, but if the director knows how to, if the director if the director is worth his salt, he can make anybody fucking look like $1 million. And clearly, Roland Emmerich did that
Yes.
with this particular actor who played Raw.
Absolutely, absolutely. So after that long story, let's go to the next fucking scene. It's a long ass story.
Sorry, folks, I
But
did
I
that.
think
Sorry, I did that.
people would be interested to know about the actor and what he went through. And if you're not, sorry, I think it's interesting. Anyway, so so this is a little bit of it's just an action scene. Ra's soldiers attack the city, killing basically a lot of the townspeople, and the leader Kasuf, he says that we should not have helped the outsiders because it's what this has caused. The problem with that is that nothing gets solved really
Yeah,
peacefully if
yeah,
you're
yeah,
if you're
yeah.
up against like an empire like that. You're going to have casualties if you want stuff to change. So, but it was a good action scene.
If you don't rise up against your oppressors, nothing for the rest of your life is going to change. You have to fucking rise up and beat your oppressors if you want true freedom. And I think Daniel and O'Neill and the soldiers coming to Abydos gave those miners, it spiritually woke them up, essentially. It was just absolutely wonderful to see that. But on the other hand, people that have been so oppressed like that can't change their belief systems overnight. So
Mm.
it makes sense that the leader of the miners on Abydos would have doubts about where his people are and the situation that they are now in with Raw because of Daniel and the Marines showing up.
Yeah, it's true. People like that want to keep the peace. They don't want to disturb anything. If they do what they're told,
Right.
everything will be fine. Not realizing
Right.
that everything is not fine, everything is fucked. Meanwhile, Daniel wakes up in the sarcophagus, completely healed. So basically, it's showing that this is what it does. It heals people because Ra put him in there because he's got the pendant. So he thinks it's one of his worshippers. Daniel then gets out. He speaks to Ra, and Ra tells him he's going to send the bomb through the gate to Earth with the minerals that they mine on this planet, making the bomb even more destructive because he created your civilization and now he will destroy it. Lovely. So Ra tells Daniel, I want you to kill your friends, and if you don't, I will kill everyone you have ever had contact with. Will Daniel do it? Who knows? Thoughts?
The one thing that I really appreciate about the villain in this movie is that the villain in this movie, Raw, has no redeeming qualities. I love the fact that he is a mustache twirling villain from the start of the movie to the end of the movie. Now, I had no doubt in my mind that Daniel was going to take the high road and Daniel was going to find some way to beat Raw. But as a kid, I was like, there is, there was a moment there was a moment in my little kid brain that said, maybe Daniel will consider Raw's offer because he wants to learn from him. But But that was fucking stupid. What is he gonna learn from a psychotic alien? There's nothing that Daniel can learn from that.
Oh, there's a lot you can learn from an ET race. Whether it's good, I don't know. I don't know.
Did you think as a kid that Daniel was gonna take Raw up on his offer, or
Yes,
or yes? Okay.
because I thought, how's he going to get out of it? If he doesn't do it, Ra's just going to kill him.
Yeah,
What's he
and
going to
then
do? He has to. He has no choice.
yeah,
So Skara finds Sharae, who is still in the caves, and he tells her that Ra has called an assembly. It's an execution. And Sharae tells Skara and the other village people that Skara has brought that she wants to tell everyone what Daniel has translated from the cave about where their people really came from and why they can no longer live as slaves. Because what Daniel translated is, you are not always this way. You are not always slaves. You were free. Ra came and enslaved you. But because it's all you know, that's why you've not changed anything, because this is life. But now they know that there once was another way. They want to go back to that. So I like that. That makes sense.
the way that Daniel communicates that to the people on Abydos is absolutely wonderful, and I love this moment because it gives the people of Abydos a choice. Either they can rise up against Ra, or they can tuck tail in between their legs and and follow Ra's teachings and follow what he says. But if they do that, probably half of them are probably going to be executed at the stake at this assembly that's happening.
The problem is the people think that the soldiers are
God.
gods. So they, because they wear the head pieces, they don't realize that they're humans.
Right.
So that's why they go along with
Right.
it, because they're afraid.
Mhm. Mhm.
So Ra and his soldiers are out front of the pyramid, and all the people watching on. This is the assembly. Daniel is given a weapon, and Daniel basically points it at O'Neill, who is knelt in front of him with some of the other soldiers, until he sees there's a light that shines in his eye, and he sees that Skara is reflecting the light off of the silver lighter that O'Neill previously gave him, and then he shows Daniel that he's got the Marines' weapons. Like, basically, they're ready to fight. Don't kill anyone. We got this. And so Daniel turns and fires on one of the guards. And then the people start shouting. There's mass panic. Ra doesn't know what to do because he didn't expect this. And basically, they all basically run away and hide in the cave. Some people get killed, but our people kind of get away. Thoughts?
I really, really enjoy this scene because in the scene, O'Neill, Kurt Russell as O'Neill, Kurt Russell as O'Neill says the most Dean Anderson line ever. He goes, "How you doing?"
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
This is the moment in the movie that everybody's been waiting for. It was absolutely amazing to see Skara and the people of Abydos basically stand up against Raw and basically charge him and basically wreck shop. It was absolutely such a amazing scene.
Yes, yes. It was fun. It was a fun action scene. So they've all basically converged in the caves, and O'Neill tells them that his orders were, if there were any signs of danger, to blow up the Stargate, basically, so it's not usable, so they can't come through to Earth. And he was going to go. He was going to stay behind to do it. He was going to sacrifice himself because since his son died, he basically has nothing to live for. We switch to Ra. We cut to Ra, and he's basically pissed because his soldiers are like, "Yeah, we can't find the townspeople," and Ra basically
They're
starts killing.
pussies.
They're pussies. He starts killing his own soldiers, and I'm like, dude, I mean, they're trained. They're trained. Let's not, you can like maybe withhold food for them for like a day. You don't need to kill them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's no need to be dramatic about it. And then we cut to Skara in the cave, and he draws a symbol on the wall, and Daniel notices it's similar to the point of origin symbol for the Earth. And the symbol has three moons, and he realizes it's again the seventh symbol that he needs. But Ra's pissed. Ra, he is so used to people worshipping him that he doesn't know what to do if people go against him. So, thoughts?
I love how Raw comes off as a whiny bitch in this moment. And like I said before, just a few minutes ago, I love how this character has no redeeming qualities. Because if he had some redeeming qualities, I think that would make him more of a compelling character. But the fact that he is a whiny bitch, one note character, I think I think serves a character for the story that Dean Devlin and Roland Emmerich wanted to tell. And the fact that Daniel essentially has been looking for a way to activate the gate on the Abydos side, and the fact that Roland Emmerich and Dean Devlin wait until the third act to finally give Daniel that symbol or that key to finally get out of there, I think is a great way to propel this movie into the final act, and it's a great way to propel the movie to the finish line.
So the tribes people are mining when Ra's guard steps in and basically kicks them, keep mining because they still have to mine. So they still have to go to work, even though all this shit's happened. Still have to mine, dudes.
That's kind of unfair, don't you think? No, I'm sorry.
Of course it's unfair, but it's Ra. Fuck you. Go to
Yeah.
work.
Fuck you. Fuck
Fuck
you.
you. Go to work. Basically, and the guard basically steps in and is immediately shot by O'Neill posing as one of the townspeople. And the leader is terrified, thinking, oh my God, he says the gods will punish us. But Daniel steps in and he retracts the headdress of one of the guards and says, look, they're human, they're not gods. And that's when the leader basically is shocked. He's like, oh, they're just people like us. And that's when it kind of fucking turns. Ra's guard takes the bomb, O'Neill's bomb, to the Stargate, but the townspeople storm the pyramid and O'Neill gets to the bomb, activating it, telling Daniel, you have 7 minutes. So this is the ticking time bomb that most movies should have. And a guard comes in and kills Sharae, and Daniel uses the teleportation rings to get to the ship and puts Sharae into the sarcophagus. Because we know it heals. Thoughts?
No, I love the moment when Daniel basically removes the headdress from the Jaffa to show the people of Abydos and the miners that these people who they essentially thought were gods for the whole film are just flesh and blood people, and that they basically have no power over them. When you stop believing in a belief system that is toxic for you, that moment in that moment, it feels like you can breathe air for the first time. And I think that the people of Abydos felt some of that when they realized that their overlords weren't actually gods, that they were just really, really, really fucked up, individuals that needed slaves to achieve their goal and to keep their master happy
Mm.
in Ra.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. So now we have an intercut of 3 scenes. The first scene is the townspeople outside the pyramid and the Marines trying to defend it against more guards. The second is O'Neill is fighting one of Ra's guards. And the third is Daniel takes Sharae out of the sarcophagus because he put her in the previous scene, and races to the teleportation rings. Because remember, he's only got 7 minutes. We don't know how much longer he's got now. Maybe like 2 fucking minutes. I don't know. As he does, Ra sees this and he gets the shits because his plans are getting foiled. And he tries to kill Daniel, but O'Neill ends up activating the rings, sending the guard that he's fighting up to the ship. And because Daniel and Sharae are in the teleportation zone of the rings, it gates them, basically teleports them down to where O'Neill is. This is a really long scene, but it's 3 scenes that are intercut, and it's actually edited really well. So, thoughts?
It really, really does a good job at pushing the action to its conclusion. When I was a kid, I thought that Daniel and Sharae weren't going to get out of there. I thought Daniel and Sharae were doomed for death. I thought
Mm,
that Ra was going to find some way to screw them over and to not let them get away.
mm.
Like
Yeah.
I was so sure that that motherfucker was going to have the last laugh, and like I at this point I was like, how is this movie going to end?
Yeah, I didn't know either. When I was a kid, I was like, no, man, you're dead.
Yeah,
Raz
yeah, yeah.
won, you did.
You did. Yeah.
So the townspeople defending the pyramid are basically surrounded by the guards. There's too many guards. There's not enough people defending the pyramid. When the leader, I love this scene, he's standing on a dune and he yells and the guards turn and everyone's looking at him and it's just him. And it's like, well, okay. And then he yells something to his people in his language, and you see thousands of his people come into view, like a gladiator fucking movie. like a Troy thing, right? And it's like, oh my god, goosebumps. And then he yells, I don't know, charge in his language,
Klar,
and
right.
they all thousands, hundreds, thousands of people charge down the fucking dunes. They charge the guards and basically overpower them. And that's what happens when people unite. They only complied because they were afraid, but they were shown that the guards' power was all show, and the people were the real ones with the power. And I love that so much.
Yeah, the moment when the townspeople rise up, and that moment when the leader goes to town, basically says, now guys, it's all or nothing, is a fantastic scene. That reminded me of Paul Atreides, from Dune. Uh, summoning his troops to attack his enemy. It's just a really really good scene. As a kid, it gave me such it gave me such a wonderful final rush as we raced towards the end of this movie. It was absolutely fucking fantastic.
So Ra is seeing this. And basically, he's like, yeah, I'm not dealing with this. I didn't come here for this. I came here to enslave people and now they're fighting back. I'm going to go away. So he activates his
Right.
ship to leave. He wants to fuck, he's running. And
I'm
O'Neill,
telling you, I'm
yeah,
yeah, I'm telling you, this guy is such a bitch.
is he's a bitch. He's like, I can't,
He's
he
such a
can't
bitch.
fight them without his guards, and all of his guards are fucked. So he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm going now. O'Neill can't turn the bomb off. It's got 43 seconds to go, and he says to Daniel, I can't turn it off. And he goes, I don't know what I'm going to do. And they both look over at the teleportation rings and they're like, hmm. So they send the bomb up via the teleportation rings because the rings go directly to Ra's ship. And that the ship is actually orbiting the planet when the bomb goes up. And Ra sees this spawn on his ship and he walks towards it. And you can see he knows what it is. And he's just basically, he's like, fuck. And it detonates, destroying the shit out of the ship. And the people basically cry out in joy because from the planet, they can actually see the explosion. But what I love, when it explodes, the director has a close up of Ra's face, and you can actually see not in a morbid way, but you can see the skin of the human melt away and the alien underneath. And it's really fucking cool because sometimes you forget it's an alien, but it is actually an ET pretending to be a human, and I love it.
Wow, I did not notice that when I was watching this movie. But really, you can see that? I did not know. I
Yeah,
did not notice that.
yeah, it's really cool.
I did not notice that. Um, the moment of Raw's death is really reminiscent to me to the moment, to a moment to the moment in Independence Day when Will Smith and when Will Smith and Jeff Goldblum basically kind of do the same thing and send a bomb up to the mothership
Hmm.
to explode the mothership. Not to talk about Independence Day, but it's a wonderful, it's a wonderful hurrah, it's a wonderful hurrah moment, and I absolutely loved it. And the look of fucking panic and fucking defeat that Raw has on his face before his ship blows up is absolutely fucking phenomenal. And as a kid, I was like, "Yeah, motherfucker, you deserve that."
So this is the last scene of the movie. As the team leaves, Daniel decides to stay behind because he wants to stay with Shara. They have a really, really nice bond throughout the movie, and basically everyone on Earth thinks he's a dickhead anyway. He's not, but he's just got no credibility on Earth. At least where he is, he can help out with his expertise. So he decides to stay, and then O'Neill steps through the gate with the rest of his team that survived, and that's it. That's the end.
Yeah, and if you think about Daniel, he doesn't have anybody. He was brought up by his foster parents, so it makes complete sense that he wants to stay behind
Mm.
with the people of Avados and with Shara and sort of rebuild his life.
Yeah.
And I do like the fact that although the character of O'Neill wasn't given a story arc per se in this movie, he wasn't really given one. I really like the fact that, in a sense, he kind of gets a zest for life again
Mm.
through the situation that he goes through in Abydos. And I bet that when he goes back to Earth, he gets together with his wife and they live happily ever after, and they live happily ever after. Oh wait, no, they get a divorce. SG1, folks.
I was gonna say that's not what fucking happens. When was the last
I
time you watched
know, I
SG1?
know,
Is that
I
absolutely not what
know,
happens?
I know. I was setting up a joke.
I get it. I get it now. I get it now. Trivia:
Trivia, go ahead.
James Spader hated the script so much that sometimes he flat out refused to come out of his trailer until his dialogue was rewritten.
Oh my god.
And
What?
And Kurt Russell actually one time had to go into his trailer and ask him what the fuck is going on. We have to film. James Spader said, I'm not doing it. The script is crap. You know what Kurt Russell said? You'll like this. He looked at James Spader and he says, this is our job. You're getting paid. Let's go.
That is why, folks, Kurt Russell is a fucking legend.
Yeah.
Cause,
Yeah.
cause what a Because what a fucking look. I love James Spader, but I never knew this. But what a fucking whiny bitch.
It's funny because Kurt Russell hated the script too. They wanted Kurt Russell for O'Neill and he refused so many times. He's like, no, it's crap. It's not good.
No,
And they were going, why does he think the screenplay is crap? Like it's not that bad. And do you know what they realized? They were sending him the first draft. They
oh,
weren't sending him the shooting script and they went, oh shit, we sent him the wrong draft. As
oh,
soon as they sent him the
oh,
shooting script, he was like, okay, maybe. And then they convinced him and then he was on board.
oh my god! What a, like what a colossal mistake!
Yeah,
My
I
God.
know. I know. Okay. Stargate has one of the best themes, the most iconic themes, score themes, I think, of any kind of sci-fi movie because they use the same thing in SG1. But the
Mhm.
story of how it came about is quite Cinderella. The composer at the time was actually working in a record store and was scoring student films. Dean Devlin, one of the writers of the film, had actually seen the one obscure independent movie that this guy did. I don't even know what it is. I looked it up. I have never heard of it. And basically tracked this guy down and said, can you do a score to Stargate? And the guy was like, are you sure? Like this guy worked in a record store. He goes, are you sure? He goes, I love what you did with this. I think you can do this. And the guy went in and he goes, all right. He composed the score to Stargate. And when they first heard it, they were like, fucking, this is it. This is it. The guy's got it. Is that a fucking Cinderella story or what?
Oh, fuck yeah! I like that. Like that sounds something out of a fucking story. That sounds like something out of fucking storybook. Like
Yeah.
that does not seem plausible at all. And the wonderful thing about the wonderful thing about the Stargate theme, it sounds like something that John Williams would compose. Like
Yeah.
it just has this magical adventure tinge to it that's absolutely fucking wonderful. So that's fucking amazing. Listen. I never knew that, but but good on Dean Devlin for recognizing talent
Mm.
and for betting on this guy because without Dean Devlin, I doubt that this guy would have had a career.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. My last piece of trivia, I thought this was funny. Rick Moranis was offered the role of Daniel Jackson.
Oh hell no.
I think he's a bit. I mean, I like Rick Moranis. I don't know. Maybe no, he's a bit.
No,
He's
no,
too
no.
nerdy. There's too
Yeah, it's too
nerdy.
nerdy, but he's too nerdy. There's no way that he could have pulled. There's no way that he could have pulled off Daniel Jackson. I don't know. I can't see it. I've always viewed Rick Moranis as like the comedy guy, the guy from Spaceballs.
Yeah, Dark Helmet. Yeah.
Yeah, Dark Helmet.
Anyway, that's the end of my trivia. Do you have anything else to add before I take us home?
No, take us home.
We hope you've enjoyed this review of Stargate. If you like us, please subscribe and like our content. We've got over 100 videos up on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, wherever you find your podcast that you can listen to. Up next week, we have another sci-fi movie. We have an awesome sci-fi movie. It's called The Core. It has Hilary Swank in it. It's epic. It's amazing. Please join us next week as we review this amazing movie. I don't know what I was about to say then. I fucking zoned out. But thank you for listening to us. And as I say every week, if someone is kind enough to make you a mixtape, that must mean that they really love you. The Mixtape Podcast is a Balloonhead Productions presentation.